Hello, welcome to Biology, the scientific study of life. In the origin of species, Darwin proposed that species change through natural selection. As the 19th century dawned, it was generally believed that species had remained unchanged since their creation. A few clouds of doubt about the permanence of species were beginning to gather, but no one could have forecast the thundering storm just over the horizon. Darwin's research. Charles Darwin was born in Western England. Even as a boy, he had a consuming interest in nature. When he was not reading natural books, he was fishing, hunting, and collecting insects. Darwin's father, an eminent physician, could see no future of his 16-year-old son as a naturalist and sent him to the University of Edinburgh to study medicine. But Charles found medical school boring and surgery. He left Edinburgh without a degree and enrolled at Cambridge University with the intention of becoming a clergyman. At that time in England, many scholars of science belonged to the clergy. At Cambridge, Darwin became the protege of the Reverend John Henslow, a professor of botany. Soon after Darwin received his B.A. degree, Henslow recommended the young graduate to Captain Rupert Fitzroy, who was preparing the survey ship HMS Buggles for a voyage around the world. Fitzroy accepted Darwin on board because of his education and because of his age and social class, which were similar to Fitzroy's. The voyage of the Bugle. In 1831, the 20-year-old Darwin left England aboard the Bugle. The primary mission of the voyage was to chart poorly known stretches of the South American coastline. While the ship's crew surveyed the coast, Darwin spent most of his time on shore observing the collecting thousands of South American plants and animals. He observed the various adaptations of plants and animals that inhabited such diverse environments as the Brazilian jungles, the expensive grasslands of the Argentine pampas, the desolate lands of Tierra del Fuego near Antarctica, and the towering heights of the Andes Mountains. Darwin noted that the plants and animals in temperate regions of South America more closely resembled species living in the South American tropics than species in temperate regions of Europe. Furthermore, the fossils he found, though clearly different from living species, were distinctly South American in their resemblance to the living organisms of that continent. Geologic observations also impressed Darwin during the voyage. Despite bouts of seasickness, he read Linnell's Principles of Geology while aboard the Bugle. He experienced geologic change firsthand when a violent earthquake rocked the coast of Chile. And he observed afterward that the coastline had risen by several feet. Finding fossils of ocean organisms high in the Andes Mountains, he inferred that the rocks containing the fossils must have been raised there by a long series of similar earthquakes. These observations reinforced what he had learned from Linnell. The physical evidence did not support the traditional view of a static Earth only a few thousand years old. Darwin's interest in the geographic distribution of species was further kindled by the Bugle's stop at the Galapagos, a group of geologically young volcanic islands located near the equator about 900 kilometers west of South America. Darwin was fascinated by the unusual organisms he found there. Notice that He found there among the birds he collected on the Galapagos were several kinds of finches that, although quite similar, seemed to be different species. Some were unique to individual islands, while others were distributed on two or more adjacent islands. But Darwin did not fully grasp the significance of these observations until after his return to England in 1836. He and others found that although the animals on the Galapagos resemble species living on the South American mainland, most of the